Deep in a sun-dappled meadow, where the river sang a soft, never-ending song, lived a tiny flower fairy named Flicker. She was no bigger than a thumb, with wings that shimmered just like a dragonfly's, so thin you could see the sunlight right through them. Her hair was the color of dandelions, and her laugh sounded just like a handful of tiny silver bells. Flicker loved the meadow and everything in it, the bluebells, the lazy clouds, and the ripple of fish near the riverbank. But she loved mischief too, the kind that made everyone smile after the surprise. One particularly sunny morning, Flicker was zipping this way and that over the sparkling river. She spotted her old friend Croaker the frog napping on his favorite, extra-large lily pad. Croaker was a very large, very green, and very serious frog. Tee-hee-hee, Flicker giggled, a tiny hand flying to her mouth. She darted to the riverbank and plucked a long, ticklish blade of grass. Quiet as a whisper, she floated right over Croaker's head and tickled his big green nose. Ribbit! Croaker woke with an enormous jump, his eyes popping wide open. He splashed right off the lily pad and into the cool water. He surfaced, wiping water from his eyes, looking left and right. Flicker's bell-like laughter echoed clear across the water. "Good morning, Croaker!" she called out. Croaker blinked sleepily and then grinned when he recognized Flicker. "Good morning, Flicker. You startled me." "Just a little wake-up song," Flicker chimed. "Come on, Croaker, let's play hide and skip." The two of them chased shadows and hopped along the river stones, laughter ringing through the reeds. As they played, Flicker smelled something wonderful.
What is that wonderful smell?
It floated on the breeze, sweet, sticky, and positively golden. Honey, she breathed. She followed the scent up to the big willow tree, where a huge, busy beehive hung from a branch. Ooh, a tiny taste would be lovely, she whispered to herself.
Oh, so much honey.
But the bees were very busy, buzzing in and out. Flicker knew she needed a distraction. She flew down to a patch of beautiful bluebells. With a quick flick of her wrist, she made all the bluebells start to dance and sway, ringing their silent bells as if a joyful wind was blowing only on them. The guard bees noticed immediately. "What's all this, then?" one buzzed to the other. "Most peculiar." The bees flew over to see the magical dancing flowers. "This is my chance." Quick as a wink, Flicker zipped over to the hive. She didn't take much, just one tiny golden drop of honey on the tip of her finger. It was the sweetest thing she had ever tasted. When the bees returned, the flowers were still. "How strange," buzzed the queen bee. They didn't even notice the tiny drop that was missing. From her hiding spot on a mushroom, Flicker licked the last of the honey from her finger. She saw her friend Croaker watching her and flew down to his lily pad. "For you," she chirped, placing a teensy, invisible speck of honey magic on his tongue. Ribbit. Well, perhaps a little mischief is all right," Croaker hummed.
Giggles!
As they sat, something gleamed among the reeds. A shell like a little sun. A golden turtle slowly emerged, its shell catching light and scattering it into warm sparks. Croaker paused mid-hop and bowed his head politely. Flicker hovered in midair, eyes wide with wonder. "Hello," croaked Croaker. "Who are you, slow friend of the river?" The golden turtle blinked wise green eyes and smiled a turtle smile. "I am Solstice," he said in a voice low and kind, like pebbles rolling in a stream. "I carry stories. May I walk with you?" Flicker clapped her hands. "Oh, yes, we would love to hear a story." As they walked, Solstice told them the tale of a seed that found its way through the dark soil to become a brave oak. While Solstice told his stories, Flicker and Croaker decided to make music. Flicker made a tiny bell from dewdrops. Croaker hummed a bassy ribbit under the tune. Solstice tapped his golden shell like a slow, gentle drum. Together they made a gentle song that reminded the meadow of summer. The bees even drifted closer, curious and calm. After the song, Flicker looked toward the path that led from the meadow to the little village beyond the willow trees. "Shall we go say hello to the children?" she asked. Croaker hopped eagerly, and Solstice nodded slowly and happily. So the three friends set off. At the village green, children were playing tag. Flicker zipped through their laughter and left tiny, invisible tickles on the backs of their knees. The children shrieked with happy surprise. Croaker performed a grand frog hopper trick that made the little ones clap. And Solstice offered the children wise, slow riddles that made their eyes sparkle. One little girl with hair like wheat stepped forward.
Are you a real fairy?
Flicker smiled, fluttered low, and with a puff of magic, sent a few fallen leaves into a beautiful, spinning tornado right in front of her. The girl gasped. "Real enough to be your friend," Flicker sang. She sprinkled a dusting of sparkle that made the tops of the children's shoes feel like they were walking on clouds. The children giggled and danced. The laughter warmed Flicker's wings. She felt happy, but also a little tired from all the playing. "I think I'll make a little house for myself," Flicker said to her new friends. "A tiny treehouse where I can nap and keep seeds and honey." The children clapped and pointed to the best tree, a tall, quiet oak at the edge of the forest, right where the meadow met the village path. Deep in the forest, shaded and secret, Flicker picked a sturdy branch and hummed a soft tune. She held out her hands, and a soft, golden light poured from her fingertips. With a flick and a swirl, the light wove living twigs into a perfect, round doorway. It coaxed thick green moss to grow up the sides, forming soft walls. Tiny windows of spider silk shimmered open, and a roof of curled moss fit snugly on top.
Perfect,
she whispered, dusting off her palms. The house smelled of new wood and the safe hush of the forest. While Flicker hummed and tucked in the last leaf, she did not notice a figure standing quietly beyond the ferns. A man watched from where the light met the shadow, his face kind and a little weathered, like a tree's bark. He had come to the forest to find calm and had stumbled upon Flicker's bright, magical work. He did not step closer. He only watched, wondering at the tiny house and the tiny builder. He smiled gently and put a finger to his lips, promising to keep her secret. Flicker, not noticing him at all, sang a finishing note and watched her new home glow. I must visit the village again tomorrow, she decided, feeling sleepy. She flew back to the village green, where Croaker and Solstice were waiting with the children. The children ran to greet her. "Did you build it?" But as the sun began to lean toward the hills, the village bell rang and a hush fell. "Eliza, time for dinner," called the mother of the wheat-haired girl. The adults came out, looking for their children. "And where has our little fairy friend gone?" asked the baker, looking around. The children laughed and pointed at Flicker, who was hiding behind a sun hat. She popped out to surprise them, and they squealed with delight. The adults smiled, but they began to look thoughtful. "We must be kind to her," and let her be free," said the baker, stroking his chin. "She gives joy, but she is also small and needs her own quiet." As twilight painted the sky in lavender, a gentle search began. Not frantic, not worried, simply careful. The adults wanted to make sure their magical friend was safe for the night. "Flicker, are you heading home?" they called in warm, gentle voices. The kind man who had watched in the ferns quietly joined them, not to frighten Flicker, but to make sure she had friendly faces around her. Under a sky dusted with the first shy stars, Flicker peered from a high branch. She heard the murmur of the villagers and felt the warm comfort of being wanted. She flew down, lighter than a leaf, and landed on the outstretched palm of the wheat-haired girl. The village children gasped and clapped. "Thank you for finding me," she chimed. "I didn't mean to make anyone worry. I just love to play. But I'm going to my new house now." The villagers laughed softly. The baker promised to leave a tiny crumb and a drop of honey near the oak for Flicker each week. In return, Flicker promised to come play often. Croaker curled on a lily pad near the village pond. Solstice settled in the mud to watch the moon. And Flicker flew to her new home, tucked into her dandelion bed, and pulled a moss blanket around her. She closed her eyes and thought of tomorrow's mischief, perhaps a parade of ladybugs, or making Croaker's ribbit come out as a meow, just once.
Good night, Meadow. Good night, village. Good night, Gale. Good night, Croaker.
She whispered, and as the stars watched, she fell asleep.
Thank you for watching. If you want more mischief and magic, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, TaleWeave. We'll have another tale waiting soon.